Margaret Joseph's remarks regarding Teresa Giudice leaving the series have angered RHONG fans. It is commonly known that the two co-stars do not get along. Margaret, however, provided evidence to support her belief that the mother of four needed to quit the show. See what she said and the reasons why fans are furious by reading on. Regarding Teresa Giudice's departure remarks, RHONG fans mock Margaret Josephs. It has been difficult for RHONG to have a legitimate future because of the division among the whole ensemble this season. Andy Cohen has acknowledged that the cast's discord cannot continue the show in this manner. To make matters worse, Jackie Goldschneider, a former full-time housewife, has changed her ways. In addition to being on season 2 as a friend of, she has a close relationship with Teresa Giudice. Because of this, Jackie's former close friend Margaret Josephs now calls her Giudice. In addition, Margaret recently expressed her confusion at Teresa's continued appearance on the show. She mentioned Teresa's husband Luis Ruiz' alleged wealth, in addition to the fact that she dislikes her. I don't understand why his wife is showing up at Subway restaurants slinging bologna if her husband is so wealthy and constantly preaches it. Perhaps it's time for her to leave. I have nothing more to say. Fans of the show were horrified upon hearing this. Whether you like her or not, Teresa has contributed a lot of drama to the show since its beginning. Mew claims that fans immediately criticized Margaret Josephs. To express their opinions, they went to Instagram. Teresa founded the show and is considered an original. After S11, Marge ought to have been the one let go. Goodbye, Marge. The success of the play can be attributed to Teresa. Please get T fired so that Margaret can try to take over as ringleader and run the show on her gratitude. Fans of RHONG did note that Margaret Josephs is not required to feel a certain way about Teresa Giudice. She should be thankful, though, because there wouldn't be a show without her. Although there was no interaction between the two women in season 14, Margaret did observe that she could hear what was happening. She seems to believe Teresa is fixated on her, which could be a reach. She was obsessed with me, according to the girls. Because she is so enamored with me, she is going to drop some bombs. The outcome of this season and what will be said about the women behind their backs are unknown at this moment. Do you agree with Margaret's statement, or do you think she should leave? Or should the series be completely rebooted? Tell us and tune in to Bravo's RHONG Sundays. When it comes to the Real Housewives of New Jersey, drama doesn't just unfold on camera. It often lingers long after the cameras stop rolling. That's exactly what happened recently when Margaret Josephs made pointed comments about Teresa Giudice's potential exit from the franchise. Instead of sparking understanding, Margaret's words ignited a firestorm among viewers, many of whom felt she crossed a line. The conversation around Teresa's longevity on the show has been brewing for years. As an original cast member and the undeniable face of RHONG, Teresa has carried storylines that defined the franchise, from table flips to legal troubles to her wedding to Luis Ruiz. Love her or loathe her, Teresa's presence remains synonymous with Jersey housewives. So when Margaret, never one to bite her tongue, suggested that perhaps it was time for Teresa to bow out, the backlash was swift. Margaret's controversial take. On a recent podcast appearance, Margaret reportedly quipped that the show could survive without Teresa, and implied that the OG's departure might even refresh the energy. For a fanbase deeply split between tree huggers and tree bashers, that statement landed like dynamite. Margaret explained that the cast isn't about one person, emphasizing that the ensemble works best when every personality is allowed to shine. She further noted that other franchises, like RHOBH after Lisa Vanderpump's exit or RHONY following Bethany Frankel's departures, continue to thrive without their marquee names. But for Teresa's fans, the insinuation that she was replaceable came across as disrespectful. Many felt Margaret was undermining the cultural weight Teresa carries, not only in Jersey but across the entire Housewives empire. Fans clap back. Within hours of Margaret's remarks circulating, Bravo fan accounts lit up with fury, Twitter threads and Instagram comments filled with sharp criticism. Margaret wouldn't even be relevant if Teresa hadn't given her storyline season after season. The audacity. RHONG without Teresa is like pizza without cheese. Margaret needs to sit down. It's always the ones who benefit from Teresa's spotlight that want her gone. Even neutral fans chimed in, saying that while they might not agree with every move Teresa makes, her role as the cornerstone of RHONG can't be overstated. On Reddit, one thread titled "Margaret is out of touch" amassed hundreds of comments dissecting her comments. Several users argued that Margaret seemed to forget that conflict with Teresa has consistently been her most defining arc. Without that feud, they questioned what storylines Margaret could sustain. History of bad blood. This blowback isn't happening in a vacuum. Margaret and Teresa have a long, messy history that fans are quick to reference. From physical altercations, like Teresa tossing drinks Margaret's way, to relentless shade, their dynamic has fueled multiple seasons of explosive episodes. Many viewers see Margaret's recent remarks as another attempt to diminish Teresa's influence while positioning herself as a central figure. Critics of Margaret argue that she is more interested in strategy than sincerity, trying to chip away at Teresa's legacy to elevate her own standing. One Bravo blogger summed it up bluntly: Margaret's entire brand is anti-Teresa. Without that, what's left? Business slogans and pigtails. The Teresa factor. Love her or hate her, Teresa Giudice is RHONG. From her infamous table flip in Season 1 to her tearful prison storyline and her lavish wedding, Teresa embodies the kind of drama, vulnerability, and spectacle that Bravo fans crave. Even other franchises recognize her star power, with Teresa frequently referenced in cross-franchise reunions or BravoCon panels as one of Housewives' most iconic figures. For her die-hard supporters, the idea that Margaret would so casually suggest Teresa's departure smacks of jealousy. As one fan put it, Margaret can't stand that Teresa will always be the face of this show, no matter how many seasons pass. Bravo's dilemma. Behind the scenes, Bravo faces its own tightrope. Cast shakeups are common in Housewives history, but Teresa's role is exceptional. She is one of the longest-standing housewives in the entire franchise and remains a guaranteed ratings draw. Removing her could risk alienating a loyal viewer base, but keeping her means continuing to navigate her polarizing feuds, especially with castmates like Margaret. For Bravo, Margaret's comments may reflect a sentiment some producers have debated: how long can the Teresa-centered drama sustain itself? Yet, the eruption from fans makes clear that sidelining her would be a gamble. Margaret's silence. Interestingly, Margaret hasn't clapped back at the online outrage, at least not yet. She's been active on social media, but her posts have focused on her businesses and lifestyle rather than addressing the backlash. Some fans interpret this silence as strategic, while others think it reflects her inability to handle the blowback she triggered. Her critics see it as evidence that she's more comfortable stirring the pot than facing accountability. As one Twitter user wrote, Margaret drops bombs and hides her hands. Classic. Could this hurt Margaret? The bigger question is whether this controversy will hurt Margaret's standing with fans and producers. While stirring drama is practically a housewife's job requirement, alienating the fandom can have consequences. If Bravo senses that Margaret's relevance depends solely on attacking Teresa, she may risk her own place on the show. Already, fan polls on Instagram suggest that many would rather see Margaret gone than Teresa. Some even floated the idea that Margaret might be testing fan reaction on behalf of producers. A theory that, if true, spectacularly backfired. Teresa's response. As for Teresa, she hasn't directly responded to Margaret's comments, but sources close to her hint she isn't surprised. Reportedly, she views Margaret's remarks as more of the same obsession she has accused her of in the past. On her own podcast appearances, Teresa has doubled down on her love for Bravo and her pride in being a long-standing housewife. "This is my home," she said recently. "I'll leave when I'm ready, not when someone else says it's time." That kind of defiance only fuels her fans' loyalty and underscores why Margaret's comments misfired. The bigger picture. In the grand scheme of Bravo history, Margaret's comments will likely be remembered as yet another flare-up in the never-ending Teresa versus Margaret saga. But the incident also underscores a deeper truth about Housewives fandom. Loyalty to OJs runs deep. Attempting to undercut the icons often backfires, no matter how valid the critique might seem. For now, the backlash continues to ripple across social media, with many fans declaring their unwavering support for Teresa. Whether Margaret can weather this storm or turn it into her next storyline remains to be seen. One thing's for sure, if Bravo ever truly did part ways with Teresa Giudice, the fandom wouldn't go quietly. And Margaret Josephs, knowingly or not, just reminded everyone of that fact.